My name is Ray Garcia, and I am a Villagomez.
When and where were you born?
Where was I born? I was born at St. Joseph's Hospital downtown here in Houston, Texas.
And when is your birthday?
November 12, 1945.
Do you know how your parents chose your name?
Yeah, well, actually, I say Ray Garcia, but my given name is Raul Ramon Garcia. So my dad was Raul, so I'm actually a junior.
Do you have any nicknames?
Just Ray.
Just Ray.
Yeah. Or the greatest. No, I'm just kidding.
So tell me more about your parents. What did they do for a living?
My dad was a chef. He was in the Navy. He was a cook in the Navy, and then he was a chef at the Azalea Terrace at downtown at Foley's. Foley's was a department store that was pretty nice at the time. And then he gave up the cooking. He didn't want to cook anymore, so he went into the furniture business, used furniture business, and he also went into, he worked for the Houston Post for a long time. He was a distributor for the Denver Harbor area. And my mother was just mama, being at home cooking for the guys. And it was 5 of us. So, yeah, my mother never worked that I can remember. Yeah.
And your grandparents? What did they do?
Oh, well, Grandma did the same thing. She, was 13 kids. What are you going to do? My grandfather worked at Lone Star Cement Company for I don't know how many years. But he was such a nice. He was what you got to work hard to feed so many people, and so he had other jobs, those side jobs. He was took care of the priest had a house on McGregor, and he took care of the lawn and like that. But for the most part, he was just Lone Star Cement was his main job, and he worked there for 40-some years. But Grandma was just Grandma.
Did they live close by?
Yes. We always lived right here in Magnolia. We always stayed close, and they lived on 7641 Avenue F. And we lived in the garage apartment when my mother and my father and I were, well, I was small, but yeah, but we always kind of, kept it close. It was always good. We never separated too much.
Can you tell me, can you describe your childhood home a little more?
The
home that you grew up in?
Well, there were a couple. The one on Avenue F, and then my parents moved to a place over on Cavalcade. This was even before the East Tex Freeway was constructed, and it was a small house, lots of land, and but then my dad bought a house in Manchester, and so we moved back over here. So we were all kind of close. Magnolia, Manchester, and so I don't know, we just always kind of, it was kind of a cohesive group, and we just stayed together.
So at one point you lived with your grandparents, and then after that?
I lived with my grandparents for 1 year when my because I was in school at Immaculate Heart of Mary Catholic school. And my parents bought this house over off of Cavalcade, and they didn't want to take me out of school, and so I lived with my grandparents for a year, and it's great. I loved them so much.
Do you have a favorite memory of your grandparents?
Oh, yeah, everything. They were just wonderful. My grandmother cooking, making tortillas and with the molcajetes and like that. and one time we drove, my grandparents and I, to Mexico, and I remember my grandfather. I don't know. You can cut this out later if you want. Well, he was a smoker and I was a smoker. I was 18, so we're going to Mexico, and out of the clear blue, my grandmother says, "Mijo, ¿no fumas?" Sí. Pues fúmate un. And I had my cigarettes in my socks, back in the days, and so I don't know where it came from. She just said, "No fumas, mijo." Fúmate uno, mijo. Hey. So me and my grandpa, we smoked all the way to Mexico. It was wonderful. That my grandmother. But we used to sit in the front porch, and I was at the university at the time, and when I got done with classes, I would go and sit with him on the front porch on Avenue F, and I'd bring a six-pack for Grandpa and I, and we'd smoke a little cigarette and then have a beer, and Grandma, for some reason, I don't know what she thought was, she would put her hand out and she wanted the ashes from the cigarettes, and she said, so what? But yeah, those are good memories. We just sit and talk, and but I loved my grandparents so much.
They speak English or Spanish with you?
Spanish with my grandma, and English, and a mix. Yeah. My grandmother never really learned the English language, but my grandfather did. So she understood a little bit of, but yeah, it was a little bit of both. Yeah.
And a favorite memory of your mother?
Loved her. Cooking, taking care of her. Just taking care of everybody. And that was my mom.
Your dad?
Disciplinarian. He was hard on us, but he taught us how to be men, be responsible, work. And he was not necessarily a very, tender guy, but he taught us how to be men.
What kinds of things did your family do together? Did you go on trips? Did you?
Now, you know what? Maybe some picnics from time to time. Especially like Easter and like that. And so we go to like Galveston County Park and or Mason Park or like that. But aside from that, no, there was not a whole lot of, but that's about it.
Did you have chores as a child?
It's like saying, "Do you breathe?" Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure. Take out the trash, cut the grass, wash the dishes. We didn't have a dishwasher at the time, so it would be my brothers and I Okay, you wash, you dry, no, you rinse, you dry. So, yeah, sure. And clean the house a little bit, but mostly it was like taking out trash and things like that. Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
The high school.
From the beginning.
From the beginning, I went to Immaculate Heart of Mary for a couple of years, and then I went to Betsy Ross Elementary, and then I went to St. Francis of Assisi for a year, and then I went to Immaculate Heart of Mary, and I'm sorry, Immaculate Conception, and then I went a year to St. Thomas. And then I finished up at Milby High School, graduated from Milby, 1963.
What was Milby like at that time?
Well, it was different, and it was. Can you edit some of this? Well, it was mostly Anglo. 80% probably, and but it was good. It was good. I enjoyed my 3 years in Bilmy, and yeah. But it was normal, I guess. It was good.
Do you have any favorite subjects?
History. Yeah. Yeah. I went to the University of Houston. For 3 years before I got drafted, but my major was history education. I wanted to teach history, But history has always been, even as a kid, military history especially. Used to watch a program on TV. It was called Victory at Sea. It was World War II in the Navy and like that, and anything military was, I don't know why, and then and why I decided to go into the Army at 24 years of age, I have no idea, except for that I think I was like, I don't know, I was tired of going to school and working, I wanted to do something, so I went in the military, and I spent 13 months in Korea and the DMZ. But yeah, history. I digressed, I'm sorry.
So, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Actually, I wanted to be a teacher, like I told you. But when I got back from the Army, because I used to work at the Houston Post before I went in the Army, and I had a very nice rapport with my manager at the time, and he says, "Ray, do you want a job?" I said, "Yeah, I want a job, but I don't want this job." And so he says, "Look, I know somebody at Channel 2 television. Would you like to go talk to him?" And I said, "Sure." So I went to Channel 2, talked to this nice man, Mr. Hundorf, and he says, "Well, what do you know about television?" I said, "I'm going to be honest with you. I know how to turn it on and watch it. That's all I know about television." And he says, "Well, we could only take a trainee in the film department." I said, "Well, whatever." And so they took me in a couple of weeks later, and I spent 42 years there. 42 years. And so, obviously, show business was not in my thoughts as coming up, but that was my life, 42 years.
Did you have a best friend when you were growing up? Or a close friend?
Yeah, I had a couple. One, his name was Marty Short. Marty Short. Very, very nice young man. And but when I was a kid, I was like in the 7th, 8th grade. His name was Gary Gamblin. I'll never forget this guy. He was such a good guy. And then in the neighborhood, We had some guys that we just kind of all hung around together. It was Oscar and Joe and Robert and Victor, and we were like together all the time. You know, we worked at the same place. We worked at the we parked cars at the Warwick Hotel. So yeah, we yeah, I had pretty good friends.
When you were really little, did you have a favorite game or toy, or what was popular at the time that you enjoyed?
A game? Oh my goodness, that was way back. I mean, it was like what? We didn't have telephones. We didn't have anything. How about pickup sticks, jacks? You know. Checkers. Yeah. There was nothing else. I mean, you know, we'd play ball, we'd go outside and play Red Rover, come over. And so, yeah, no, we had to pretty much entertain ourselves with whatever. But no, we didn't have these. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. And no air conditioning. But we made do. We had a good time as kids. Yeah, hopscotch.
Do you still have anything from your childhood? Any memorabilia or anything like that? Or anything from your parents or grandparents?
No, yeah, some photographs. Family portrait. Mom, dad, my brothers, and which, God bless them, they're all gone. It's just my sister and I. I'm the oldest of the family. There are 5 children, and my sister's the youngest. So, yeah, memorabilia, yes. Photographs mostly.
Is there anything else you want to add about your childhood or your family memories?
It was good. That's all I can say. It was very good. You know, it was trying at times, but and we, you know, we weren't rich by any means, but we didn't know it. Excuse me. So yeah, it was just a great time. We had a great time. We made it somehow, and I remember times when Mom was crying because there was no money, nothing to eat. But we made it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.